Now we have to move on to this game. The Thursday night game between the San Francisco 49ers and the LA Rams, a defensive slugfest in some rainy conditions. Matthew Stafford makes some plays late to give his team the lead. Kyron Williams has a really good game running the football. Brock Purdy with a bad interception late in the game. He predetermined where he was going with the football, and it was a mistake. I think he thought, hey, they're going to bite on this double move to Juwan Jennings. They didn't bite. He put the ball up in a place where he thought only his receiver could get it, but the corner stayed on top. Incredible play by them. That ended up being the deciding factor in the game. Not a lot of offense from anybody. The biggest storyline came from the Deebo Samuel drop, which could potentially have been a touchdown and broke this game open for the San Francisco 49ers, or the De'Vondre Campbell incident where he refused to go in the game and then John Lynch tells him to leave the sideline, as he should. They're trying to work with the league on a way to suspend him and make sure he's not able to sign with another team, that he's not able to be rewarded for quitting on his team, that he's not able to get the salary and things that he's going to get, because you can't do it. And I can understand frustration. I can. You're a veteran player. You're on a one-year deal. You have incentives that are based on playing time and the amount of playing time you have on a season. And it seems as though the team is doing something to jeopardize your ability to make the money that you could potentially make if you're out there playing. But this isn't one of those situations. They're playing the guy that is a heartbeat and is going to inject a lot of energy into this defense. And that's exactly what Dre Greenlaw did. When he came in there, he had 9 tackles and a half. He was everywhere. He was popping off the screen. I'm sorry, but De'Vondre Campbell, you played all season, and you have not popped off the screen like that one game. And that's why the Packers cut him. And you don't ever want to really talk bad about a guy because there's no reason to. In this situation, what should have happened is, hey, Dre Greenlaw got banged up in the game. De'Vondre Campbell goes in there. The Rams are trying to run the ball. De'Vondre Campbell is a pretty solid linebacker against the run. He stuffs, helps his defense, gets some stops. The offense gets the ball. They find a way to win the game. And then they're talking and clapping you up for being able to step up in a tough situation and being a veteran and being a pro in this situation and being a guy that the team could depend on, even though circumstances weren't what you wanted them to be. But instead, you walk off on your team. They lose the ball game. Now, this is going to be probably what the story that is written about your career. Like, this is what they're going to say. I don't know De'Vondre Campbell. I don't know enough of his plays. Like, this will overshadow just about everything you did in your career, unfortunately. And that's the sad part, because you've been in the league long enough. You've played well. You've played on teams that have made the playoffs. You don't want this to be the kind of thing that defines your career. But these days, this is the kind of thing that defines your career because most people have never seen it before. When Antonio Brown does something like that and it's crazy and it's all that, well, they just won a Super Bowl with Antonio Brown. He had a Hall of Fame career. So sure, we'll laugh about that moment and be like, man, Antonio Brown did some crazy stuff at that point. But Antonio Brown is a Hall of Famer. And he freaking took over the league. He was the best receiver in the league in his prime. That's a much different situation. It's not right, but it's not going to overshadow everything that he's done and accomplished in his career, all the All-Pros and Pro Bowls and the illustrious career that he's had, and even the Super Bowl win with Tom Brady. But this, for a guy without that kind of resume, you can't do it. You can't do it because it's going to overshadow everything that you've done. And that's the sad part. You hurt your team. You made yourself the storyline. The team couldn't even talk about the loss to the Rams because they got to talk about the guy who quit on the team. And you don't want to be that guy. And it's unfortunate that cooler heads didn't prevail and that you didn't just go out there and be a pro, help your team get this win, and then we could deal with the rest of it afterwards. You can go up to Kyle and say, hey, I got these incentives. Don't do me like this, Kyle. Don't do me like this. Don't sit me when you know I'm close to hitting them. Like, who knows if Dre even plays the rest of the season. If you would have just stayed the course, it would have worked out how it needed to work out for you. That's the hardest part. But again, the story in this game, De'Vondre Campbell leaving the game. Obviously, this is a tough loss to the San Francisco 49ers on top of an incredibly disappointing season in which they're 6-8 right now. Doesn't look like they have any chance to make the playoffs. They're going to have to answer a lot of questions this offseason. You're hearing rumors that Brock Purdy wants $55+ million, which is what you expect him to want after what he's done for this team. We'll see if the San Francisco 49ers are going to pay him that. Every season, every offseason, it seems like they have a player or two holding out for more money or a better contract or, whatever the case may be. So hopefully they're able to get this one situated early enough in the offseason so they don't have distractions going into the season for the third or is it four? Yeah, third consecutive season. And then they can just reset and go into a season as underdogs for a change. You don't have to go into seasons as front runners, and you can retool, you can refocus, recalibrate, fix the things, look in the mirror, see what you've done well, what you've done wrong. And it's time for a number of changes at a number of places. Maybe you need to rethink the way you're drafting, address that offensive line. I think that's something they're going to do this offseason, something they're going to do in the draft. And hopefully they come back retooled. I don't think everybody keeps saying the window's closing on this team. I don't think so. I think this is a rough season in the midst of a really good run for the San Francisco 49ers. This will be the year that they don't go to an NFC championship or a Super Bowl. It's not the end of the world. It's frustrating because it's such a talented team that you don't expect a season like this from them, but it doesn't mean it's the end of the road. So I still have faith. The LA Rams look like they're rolling. Matthew Stafford is playing really well. This is a good game from their defense. You talked about Jared Verse and their young guys up front really starting to flourish. Kello Witherspoon, who left San Francisco, had a really good game with 3 PBUs. Puka Nacua looks like an all-pro player again. 7 catches for 97 yards. Kyron Williams, 29 carries for 108 yards. He says they're their big brother right now, and it's hard to argue that when they're winning the ball games. So we'll see what this season means for the Rams, and if they get in these playoffs, they're going to be a tough out for somebody, and you never know what's going to happen in these playoffs, but the Rams are earning them a spot if they continue to play the way they have, but I can't wait. That's what December is about. It's playoff football. It's playoff atmospheres. It's intensity. It's sense of urgency. I can't wait to see how this one shakes out.